What's going on, guys? We are going to get started on another legendary campaign guide. This time it's going to be on Malus Darkblade, added in the Shadow and the Blade DLC. So, things we need to be aware of are the Possession and Sarkhan's Whispers mechanics. I'm assuming that you guys would know this if you were playing on Legendary difficulty. The whole goal of the campaign is to collect the Scrolls of Cardi for Malekith and send them off to Naggarond. We are going to be dealing with that possession mechanic and the positive traits it would add to Malus himself in combat, and the juggling between those debuffs and buffs, both in the campaign abilities and the battle abilities. So the first step in order to get the right foothold for this campaign is to win this battle at the Tower of Sun as most efficiently as possible without taking a lot of casualties. The whole goal is we don't want to send in our whole army to get obliterated by the archers. So I will show you how to get around that situation. But first, what I want to do is focus on the diplomacy side of things, since we do have control of Haggrafe on the other side of the world, basically. So we'll go through that before we actually start this battle out. There's a lot of things we have to be aware of in these first couple turns. This is Pardik, our second lord. And you can see he starts with a decent little stack, but honestly, we might need to get rid of this, which we will do, because it does take up a lot of income for something that we're not going to be really using. We don't need to waste that on upkeep. The whole goal of Pardik is we want to send him to the ruins around the area, have him hunt for different aspects, different rewards in those ruins. You can see in a couple turns what that will end up doing. If we play the diplomacy game right, we will avoid having to defend Haggrafe from anything other than rebellions that might happen down the road. So the first step here is that we're going to want to actually join the war against Clan Septic and help Malekith out on that front. And then what that will do will help us negotiate with Klarkarond, who is the nearest threat to Haggrafe other than Malekith. But we don't have to worry about Malekith because we have a military alliance with him. So you'll see what we'll do is we'll get a non-aggression pact and ask them to join the war with us. So then Clan Septic has got a war dealing with 3 different opponents. As you can see, that negative trait from our diplomacy standing with Klarkarond has not decreased anymore. It actually stabilized, so we will be able to keep that relationship going for a little bit longer. Same thing with the Forgebound, but the Forgebound won't be that long anyway, because Tretch is going to probably wipe them off the planet. Helebron, we're going to just ignore for now. The more important thing is the Fortress of Dawn. You need to do this turn 1. Fortress of Dawn is the really close threat to Malus and the Expedition Force. So on turn 1, you need to ask for a non-aggression pact, and you have to do a trade agreement. If you don't do this turn 1, they're going to deny it, because you're giving them that 1 turn for that 0 neutral standing to go into the negatives, and then they're not going to accept it. So even still, it is deteriorating, but at least we'll have them have a non-aggression for at least 10 turns, unless they want to ruin their diplomacy standing, which I doubt they will. So at this point, I wouldn't go towards Daldrak's Lair or Hotek's Column, because Hotek's Column is where Tretch is, and Daldrak's Lair is going to be inhabited by Klarkarond the next turn, so it would be a waste of time going in one direction where you just have to turn around and go in the other direction. And you want to be as efficient as possible in legendary campaigns. For technology, you're going to go up to get that growth, Revel and Suffering. Growth is the most important resource that you can have in this early stages of any campaign. So as you'll see us get through this battle, you can see that our reinforcements are coming in, and just keep an eye on how I have my troops laid out down there. Trying to get some good cinematic shots in on this replay. We were burning their fields out, and Their army came out of the town and they want to defend it. We've got our flanking units hidden in the trees. No one's going to see them until we get that ambush going. So what I used is these elven ruins to protect our left flank. And then I had the dark shards set a little bit back, and then a spear unit set back too. So the dark shards would be able to shoot at anything that we were attacking the spears at a certain angle. So these guys, after bombarding their army with the black arc, I was able to get these guys to come up further a little bit more, and we hit them with the Medusa's ability, therefore taking out 6 units already. So that's who you have to use as your main force in this campaign in the first couple turns, is the Medusa. You'll see how much damage she can do against anything, infantry, large, or even wards. She's good at melee, she's good at ranged abilities and everything like that. So this basically deletes the first 1 unit, so we'll transfer into another aspect of the battle. We have this archer unit coming in a little bit, get a little cocky here, getting in front of the line with no defense whatsoever. We had a cauldron spill in from the black arc just then. As you can see, the dead corpses on the battlefield. So here we go. In order to avoid getting hit with that stupid frontline arrow absorption, we are running in at that attack. We also have sprung the ambush from behind. The Scourge Runner chariots are going to aim down on those Illyrian Reaver archers. They will be a pain in the butt if they are able to shoot at our Black Arc Corsairs, especially since we're going to use those to take out the Lothern Sea Guard. The Lothern Sea Guard are probably the biggest threat right now because you can't hit them with any sort of large units to disrupt their fire, but if you leave them alone, they're going to keep firing at you, as you could see just now. So the Black Arc Corsairs are what we're going to use for that. Malus is fighting off these inevitable forces. Good thing about Malus is he's good in any situation, against infantry, against large, as you'll see him fight some rat ogres later on in this campaign. Also, he's good against lords, especially when he pops that Zarkhan ability, which we will show right now. Sensing dire needs, he launches him. It's like the Nine-Tails Fox, basically. That's what everyone's saying Super Saiyan, but it's literally the Nine-Tails Fox. You've got the ninja running rat, and you've got the demon-infused Malus Darkblade. Otherwise, Naruto, Nine-Tails Fox. So, we have the Medusa coming in from behind over here. Aemon, the Lord of the High Elves, is fighting off these scoundrels, but they're not going to be faring too well. The Medusa, however, does come up and screams in his ear. I'm sure he's dead after that one. Here's Zarkhan following him. Zarkhan, like, the way he runs is so, like, demonic. Basically, this battle is simple as long as you can disrupt the archer fire. That's the key thing. That's how you're not going to take as many losses. Also, you don't want to pop the Zarkhan ability too early. Otherwise, his health will decrease as the battle goes on. So you want to wait until about halfway done. Then pop it if you want. If you pop it right off the get-go, he'll probably die before you even hit the lines. The battle is going to end here. Everyone's routed. So we'll go back to the campaign map. Pretty simple. We didn't lose too much, but this is where we're going to change something up. We're going to do loot and occupy. I know the money incentives are not good, but that replenishment is imperative for what's going to be coming up. We need that replenishment, especially since you don't replenish for the first turn, since Zarkhan's ability ruins your replenishment. So here's the hostile takeover event. We do not want to give away Haggrafe, we want to keep it. The incentives to get rid of it are short term, it's not really worth it. It's more, in the long run, it makes sense to keep it. Even if you lose it in a certain amount of turns from a rebellion or whatnot, you can still make that money back with that mine, and then also with what you're doing around the area with your lord, searching the ruins. So it doesn't make sense to get rid of it. This is, keep an eye on what we're recruiting right now, because this is where most people will do the same thing. We're going to do something a little bit different, and I think this is the better route to take in a legendary playthrough. The whole goal is we're going to control this whole province by turn 3, not move all our forces to Tor Elisor. We're going to move the Black Ark to the Tower of Stars, and then move our forces to Tor Elisor with Malus.
Fear me.
Repair some of these buildings.
Destruction everywhere.
Look at these end turn times, man. Already on Nagaron, they fly. Other than when it's cinematically watching Malekith for any upcoming crap that comes our way. Clan Moulder, pawn to what we need to be doing, and Captain Sissoko. So we also, I forgot to mention, we brought down that elixir level down to level 1. So we took our first elixir. We wanted to get that replenishment back instead of keeping that Zarkhan ability.
Swarm them.
We're going to search the Temple of Khaine. So this is a Sudoku puzzle, basically. You gotta, the keywords here are the Old One Teapot never liked to repeat himself. So you can only have one of each dice head, basically, in each row. So you could see the top row has a 4, 3, 2, 1. The second row has a 2, 4, 1, 3. So we need to figure out which one is the question mark. And it only have one of each color as well. So it can't be a 4, because the one to the left of the question mark is a 4, as you could tell. Because it can't be a 3, so it has to be a 4. So therefore, the number has to be a 2 out of the selection. And it can't be purple, since there was a purple in the line, so it was red. So by doing that, by turn 2, we got 40 Scrolls of Akhardi. And I've done this multiple times, and every time I've done it, I've gotten those Scrolls of Akhardi, so it's a good thing to do. And look how close we are for that first ritual level, basically. You'll see what happens next turn, because we already have enough by next turn to do that, and you'll see what comes up.
I grow weary.
So this is where we get to trigger a little tricky. If you move the master out first and have him try to break the walls, Malus won't be able to land on shore. So you have to have them both in the same army, land on shore together, and then take the master, try to break down the walls, and then you can attack. It's worth it to try. Sometimes he'll fail, sometimes he'll succeed. Either or, you'll be able to win the battle. It's just if he does break down some walls, it's a little bit easier. So let's try it now. He does fail, so we're gonna it looks like we're gonna be climbing the walls.
Something bubbles within.
So we are gonna start this battle. I don't know if I want to start it yet.
For the hag.
Let's see what else we can
Blood
do
for
first.
Khaine's cup.
Let's move this guy a little closer to the Tower of the Stars.
Pretend
So
I
this is
didn't
how we're
hear
splitting
that.
our cases, because if we were to bring the Black Ark to Tor Elisor, we wouldn't be able to take the Tower of Stars until turn 4.
End their existence.
With this strategy, we'll have it turn 3. And like I said, you have to be as efficient as possible during legendary campaigns.
Cease your provocations. It shall be mayhem. Hear the din of war.
Scouting out the area. Doesn't look like too many threats. So let's get into this battle. It's an easy one.
Show your
Once again, we're going to do a replay since it's more cinematic. As we hop onto the... what is that called? I mean, obviously it's a wall. The ramparts. Hopping onto the ramparts. Here, the key strategy is literally you just have to rush the wall, rush the gate with the cold ones, the Medusa and the Scourge Runner Chariot, and then take out the Illyrian Reaper archers that are sitting behind the gate with those units. And then it's really just harassment from there on out. As you can see, we've got the gate broken here. And we're going to have the Medusa actually fire at that lord over there for a couple seconds. But first I want to take these Cold One riders and go towards the back of the map so we could actually focus on capturing the stronghold. And all their units are tied up on the walls. They can't really get back down to help themselves. This lady was blasted. Tried getting that lightning off, but the Medusa hit her out of the way. The carnage. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Malus is a beast, man. His animations in battle are insane. Drink it in, man. I'm just how deafening those things are from getting hit with that Medusa. So anyway, it's really easy. Just storm the walls. It's repetitive. I've already kept going back and forth. You just want to simply occupy this. You don't want to damage anything. You don't want to loot it. It's not worth it at that point since you've got the replenishment already. As for building Malus, you want to go for Dreaded Slaver, obviously. That's how you are able to use a lot of your rights. That is how you are able to make a lot of income with the trade market. The slave market as well, so we'll go down that route in the beginning. As for the master, you want to build him to stimulate growth. You want to get these 3 settlements up and running as fast as you can. You've got, I think they are all 3 elven colonies. I think there might only be, maybe there are only 2. But this is an insane source of income. These 3 islands are insane. That's another reason why not to give up Palgrave, because it's not like you're going to lose so much income, because this is really where your income is going to be coming from, these 3 islands. Those elven colony boosts to income is ridiculous. Going back to Pardek, just looking at what the situation is here. We should be good. Hop into diplomacy. Just checking out everything that's going on here. No new wars have shown up or anything like that. Yes. And the biggest tip for legendary campaigns, guys, is you just have to be efficient. You got to try to get as much money as you can from diplomacy. You've got to non-aggression with strategic partners. Also beware of this pirate. We don't need to be having our armies out on the seas and being attacked by her. So, since we were able to find those scrolls, we have been attacked on turn 3 by the first, I guess it's a ritual army. It's the first shipment army, Clan Moulder. This will also automatically declare war on you with Clan Moulder. So there's no avoiding that war, since they do control the Temple Avenue of Gold and everything on that coastline right over there.
I control you.
So what we need to do, we're going to wait until, I think his name is Crackle? We're going to wait for him to attack Tor Elisor, and we're going to use the walls to our advantage. Defend from the rat ogres, the countless rat ogres. I'm not going to fight this battle in this video. It's pretty simple. I'll pop out and just skip it up to the results screen.
Khaine honors me.
Simple occupy here. So now we do control the whole province. We've completed that. We've gotten 4,000 gold from 2 missions in 1 turn. Efficiency, guys. That's the word. We're going to obviously stimulate the growth, use this increased slave production quotas. We're going to build him with Route Marcher. Also a nice addition in this DLC is the Black Arcs can actually do stuff now with their characters. So we're going to try to assault units with the Master. I don't want to put him in the army because I don't want that army to be discouraged and sieging us. I want to just have them attack us and try to beat us on the first turn instead of building towers and everything like that. Diplomacy again. Remember, always check diplomacy. Clan Moulder has a strength level 7. We're strength level 4. We do start with a decent amount of strength. And Nagaron. I do not get Nagaron sometimes. They never occupy Har Cauldra. They leave Clan Septic up and running for too long, I think. I think that started when they removed the handicaps for the main races. Alright, here we go. Clan Moulder coming in. Let's transfer to the battle.
Show your mettle.
So, now what we've got here. Basically, they're storming the walls with the Rat Ogres. Pretty simple. I put some spears in front of the gates, had our archers behind there. Also, the Scourge Runner Chariot is good for beating those guys down. Endless rats. But those wall towers are basically the saving grace in this battle. And the walls. Because if we didn't have the walls, we would have been flanked. We would have been just totally denied. So that's another important reason. You got to get toward Elisor on turn 2. If you wait too long, they'll start building an army. And it'll be impossible to take. If we look at this combat, Malus Darkblade taking out countless numbers of Skaven in his zone. Once again, he doesn't have this arcane ability since we did take possession down a level. But he is still viable in fighting. These guys are no match. I think the animations are insane with some of its attacks. Just taking things out. Like that guy, he loses an arm. And then I know one goes flying off the ramparts. There he is. Goodbye. He's got to be the most realistic looking fight. Like instead of just hitting things, like and not really hitting them and having things happen, a lot of his animations actually like connect. They make sense. Some of them don't, but some of them do. I just had those Cold One Riders there defending him. So let's get back to the battle. It's pretty simple. You just have to defend. Once again, I don't want to get it too repetitive on you guys. I want to keep this video around 30 minutes.
The quotas must be filled. There is beauty in death.
Got some Gambler's Armor. Not that great, but at least it's something. And let's see. So we beat that first mission, the Skaven attack. The damaged missive gives us plus 80% casualty replenishment. So by next turn we'll be fully healed. I want to go for Sadistic. Good for armor piercing, charge bonus, and just making him a little bit better in melee.
Shut up, demon! What's best for me?
Let's hop in there.
My talents.
We're gonna go for Stored Core.
Beasts, kill!
Let's search the ruins again. So this one is whatever symbol is there only once is the answer. So for this one, it's the pyramid. Get plus 1,000 in the earthen rod. Move him towards Zardok after this turn. Tower of the Sun is ours. I'm going to actually try to go and get that sea encounter over there. If it could improve our growth, that'll be even more of a boon. Ah, no. I'm just going to improve movement. But it is another 1,500 in gold. So to wipe these guys off the map, let's get into another battle. This has some cool cinematics in it. Definitely when Malus fights some of the rat ogres. So their army is just charging at us. It's just the remnants of that force that attacked our fortress. The Skaven are mad. They need that shipment. The Deathmaster was sent his minions of Clan Moulder to get them, but they failed. As you could see, the Medusa's missile attack making red mist blood. So we send in the Master and Malus. The Master is anti-large, so he's going to be good at taking the rat ogres out. Let's get into this. Malus chases after the assassin, the Deathmaster's pawn. But now that we notice the rat ogres are coming back into the fray. But we do get to see some cool kill moves here. Great angle. Alright, here we go. So he's killed one. Here's this one. How about that? That was like perfectly synced. He does get bogged down by the Skaven, but we do have the Medusa coming in and helping him. And her attacking. Look at how much. Look at all that. Look at all the mist.
Should we one thee?
We do get to see a duel between the assassin and Malus. For some reason, this assassin is unbreakable. I don't understand why. It must have been just from the quest battle. Like, since it's a quest-spawned army from the Scrolls of Akari being sent out to Malekith. But that poison attack on the assassin is making it a little bit difficult to kill him. But we will kill him nonetheless. He's throwing those poison shurikens. I don't think they're armor piercing, but who knows. You can't see the stats on legendary, so I'm not sure. I knows he's gonna die. I don't know why he just doesn't accept his fate. The Medusa knocked him right off his feet with those sound waves. It's the end for him. Dunzo. So that's really gonna do it for this battle. He did knock it off the map. The army is done.
Songs shall be
So by
written
turn
of
4,
the quotas must be
we are able
filled.
to get that first
Not
fifth of the campaign
of
done.
my own
We have a
volition.
whole province under our control, earlier than what most people have done on their Let's Plays. And we're gonna see what we've gotten. Haggrafe as well. We have gotten 40 scrolls of Akardis just by
Back into
exploring
the
ruins.
void with you.
Another good thing. So now, from where you can go for this campaign from here, there's a couple different routes. You can go towards the Temple Avenue of Gold and try to get the gold mine, and then resource site that's right next to it.
Water. Darkblade!
It's only a 2 settlement province.
I am no puppet.
Tyrant of Nag.
So let's see. I want to activate this right. You get to choose between the 4 Dark Elf heroes. You can really pick whatever you want. I'm going to pick the Death Hag because I want to get a Shrine of Khaine on the battlefield as soon as I can to accent my army, basically. I need a large unit other than the Medusa. And it'll be a good late game unit to have within the first 20 turns if I can actually use her for some hero actions, level her up at a faster rate. Build up the Black Ark, build up your army. You could either move south, try to get more of those elven colony settlements down on the lower end of the peninsula, or you could even go up north to deal with Krokar, but I wouldn't suggest that. You don't really have things to deal with Source other than the Black Ark Corsairs. Other than that, Pardek, you want to have him keep going. So that is the campaign, the first couple turns. I want to say good luck to anyone who has watched this and used the tips. It will give you a good starting point. See you guys.